Hello friends, subscribers and new viewers of this channel, and welcome to Machine Learning and AI Tutorials, where we teach people the basics of machine learning and how to download and install local models. In this video tutorial, we are going to explain how to download, install locally and run one of the most amazing AI models that we have ever seen. This model has two functions. First of all, it can be used to convert 2D images into 3D objects. And over here you can see one of the examples. Namely, on the right hand side, that is on this panel over here that I'm currently zooming in, you can see a 2D image. And on the left hand side, you can see the generated 3D object. Note that I opened this object in Blender. Another purpose of this model is to generate 3D objects and CAD models from text prompts, and I'm going to cover that in the next video tutorial. This model is truly amazing, and I have never seen something like this. Over here you can see a second test case. Here's the image, and over here you can see the model. Again, the model is amazing. Note one very important thing. This model cannot see the back of this image. However, the model was able to reconstruct the back. You can just see how this part over here looks nice, and you can also see that everything looks really amazing. And over here you can see the third test case. Again, here's the 2D image and here's the generated model. It looks truly amazing. Note over here one very nice detail. You can see that this dog actually has a backpack. However, over here you can just see one small part of backpack. However, the model was able to reconstruct everything. Look also the symmetry here. No one told the model that there should be a symmetry. However, the model was able to reconstruct the symmetry. Truly amazing. The name of this model is Hunyuan3D 2.0 and it's released by Tencent. In this video tutorial, I will teach you how to download, compile and run this model locally. You can also try this model online by going to this website. Over here you can drop the image and over here the mesh will be generated. However, there is one issue. You will be able maybe to run 2 times or maybe maximum 3 times generation, and after that you will have to buy a plan, and a plan might be $20 or $30. Instead of doing that, the best strategy is to try to download this model and run it on your local computer. In this way you don't need to pay anything, plus you have complete privacy and you can even integrate this model into your project. However, over here my advice is always to read the license. Here it is, and here's the Python code that tests the model. I will explain how to write this code, and you can see that it's Apache license version 2.0, at least for this code over here, and I will provide a link to this code in the description below. Before we explain how to install the model, let's first describe our system and let's talk about prerequisites. Our computer has NVIDIA 3090 GPU, 64GB RAM, Intel i9 processor, Ubuntu 24.04, Python 3.12, then we are running NVIDIA CUDA compiler 12.6 and GCC compiler 13.3. We could install and compile the basic image to 3D model. However, we still have some issues with compiling the texture models. Namely, most likely there is some issue created by CUDA and GCC compiler. Probably CUDA, that is this version of CUDA, cannot be run with this compiler. However, we need to investigate that. And in the future, we will update this video tutorial and we will also generate and run the texture models. Before starting the installation process, you need to install NVIDIA CUDA Toolkit and NVIDIA CUDA compilers. That is, you need to install NVCC compiler on your system. And I created a separate video tutorial on how to do that. And here's the video tutorial. I'm going to provide a link to this video tutorial in the description below this video. Okay, let's start with installation. Open a terminal. And in a terminal, first verify that you have properly installed CUDA compiler. To do that, type this. And if you see this response, this means that NVIDIA CUDA compilers are properly installed. Note over here that we are running CUDA 12.6. The next step is to verify your Python version, and this is a very important step for the following reason. First of all, note that I'm running Python 3.12 on my system. If, for example, you installed Python 3.13, you might have issues with PyTorch. Namely, PyTorch cannot be executed and compiled on Python 3.13. Maybe if you're watching this video tutorial 1 year from now, you will be able to do that. But currently, PyTorch CUDA cannot be installed on Python 3.13. Okay, then verify that you have GCC compilers or C++ compiler on your system. Type this and you should see something like this. Good. Next, make sure that you have Git installed on your system. You need to type this and this should install Git. For those of you who don't know what Git is used to download remote repositories. Next, go to the home folder and over here we need to execute this command that will download the remote repository of the model. Now, here is the actual GitHub page and here's the link. So copy this link, then go over here and in the terminal type git clone and paste the link over here. And press enter. And this should clone or download the model, at least one part of the model, on your local computer. Then let's see what happened. Namely, if you type this, you will navigate to the newly created folder that contains all the files. And here are the files. The next step is to create a Python virtual environment such that we can install and compile this model. First of all, you have to make sure that this command is installed. This command is used to create a Python virtual environment and make sure that your Python version corresponds to this number over here. Press enter. Then let's create Python virtual environment. And finally, let's activate the Python virtual environment. And over here in parentheses, you will see environment 1. This means that you are currently in a Python virtual environment. Next, let's install the necessary library. First of all, this library, that is the Hugging Face _ library, will be used to download the checkpoints, that is the weight, from the Hugging Face website. But you need a library for that. So let's run this. And the library will be installed. Next, we need to install PyTorch with CUDA support. This is a critical step. For that purpose, open Google and search PyTorch install locally. Then click on the top website and over here you will see this selection table. Here you need to select stable, Linux, pip, Python and select this CUDA version. Then copy this command, go here and execute this command. And this will download and install PyTorch inside of this virtual environment. You have to be patient since this installation process might take even 5 to 10 minutes. The next step is to create a folder in which we will download the model weights. I'm going to call this folder as models and this command will create that folder. And now we are ready to write the code that will download the Hugging Face models. For that purpose, I'm going to use Visual Studio Code, and you should start Visual Studio Code like this. If you don't have Visual Studio Code on your system, don't worry, I created a separate video tutorial explaining how to install Visual Studio Code on Linux Ubuntu. A link to that tutorial will be provided in the description below this video. Here it is, and over here, let's create a file, new file, and let's call it as download.py. Here it is, save the file, and over here to save time, I'm going to simply copy the content of the file, and I will explain you what's happening. First of all, from Hugging Face Hub, that's the library we installed or set of packages, we are importing this function, snapshot download. This function is used to download the remote repository, similarly to the git command. And now we are calling it over here, and we need to specify the remote repository. So where is the remote repository on the Hugging Face? So if you go to the Hugging Face website and you search for Hunyuan3D, you will see this page. Simply copy this, then go back to this code, paste this, and that's it. And over here you need to specify where you want to download. To see that, go over here, go to the models and type this command and paste this command over here, and that's it. Note over here that A. Haber is my username. In your case, the username will be different. Now save this. After you save this, you need to press and hold Ctrl-Shift-P, search for Python, select interpreter, click here, select the Python interpreter inside the created virtual environment, environment 1, and over here you can run this file, and this file will download the model files inside of this folder. And after the download process, which might even take 20 to 30 minutes depending on how fast is your internet connections, if you open the models folder, you will see everything over here, and this is really important. The next step is to create a test images, or you can simply use any image you have. In my case, I already prepared several images, and let me retrieve them. Here they are. I call them test1 PNG, test2 PNG, test3 PNG, and test4 PNG. I'm going to provide these images, that is, I'm going to provide a link to these images in the description below this video so you can use them to test this software. So click here, I'm going to simply copy them in this workspace folder. Note over here that I will copy inside of the base folder, and this is very important. That is over here, and I'm going to paste them here. Good. The next step is to install the additional libraries. To do that, we need to execute this command. However, we need to execute this command from the base folder. So consequently, type this to go to the base folder. Make sure that you're in the base folder, and inside of this base folder, execute this command. And this should install all the necessary libraries to run the model. Now, here's one very important comment. On the GitHub website of this model, it's also suggested or required to run these two additional commands. That is to navigate, let me just go down. That is to navigate to this folder, and then to run this thing, and then after that to run this command to go back, then again to go to this folder, and to run again this command. So this will install the texture and additional model. However, I was not able to compile this part over here. Still, the basic image to 3D model works even if you don't do this. That is, this is necessary if you want to add textures and if you want to do from text to image generation, and you can try. I'm going to provide a link to these instructions in the description below. For some reason, I was not able to compile this second part. So consequently, I'm just going to stick with this command over here, which is completed. Good. First of all, let's define a string called image name. And over here, let's specify test1.png. This image name will actually correspond to test1. So you can change test1 to test2, test3, etc. Okay, so this is the first thing, and then let's specify model over here. Model, just model 1, 2, or let's put it like this. Model true path. Okay, and then let's specify the model path. So what is the model path? The model path is actually the path to this folder, to the models folder, or let's see it over here, to this folder over here. So let's find the absolute path, go over here and type this, pwd. Now copy this, then go back to the code and paste it over here. Okay, so let's start with modification. First of all, let's copy this name, and image path should be equal to image name over here. That is, we are not going to use their default test cases, and the model path should correspond to the model true path. Good. And now let's copy again the image name, and let's see where else we need to put it. Okay, so here we are not going to use this function, and over here we need to specify the image name, and over here we need to adjust the model path as well as here. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do this. Let's see where the model path is written again. So let's see, it is here. Okay, let's make sure that the model path is over here also. And let's see further, nothing special over here. And over here we need to do additional modification. Here this code will generate a GLB file. GLB file is a 3D graphics file that can be opened in Blender. Now, if you are kind of worried about this file and how to modify it, I'm going to provide a link to the modified file in the description below. So don't worry, better use my file and try to run it. So let's now verify, or actually modify this part over here. So let's call this final 3D file, and let's call it like this. So they're calling it as mesh GLB. So over here I'm going to do this. Okay, and then I'm going to copy this over here, and that's it. So let's save this file. Now let's verify that everything looks good. Now first of all, let's make sure that image path is correct. So copy the image path, search, and let's see that everything is fine. This should be equal to image name. Perfect. Let's verify the model path. Where do we? Yes, here. So search for model path. Let's do control find. So let's see. This is perfect. Further perfect. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. So everything is good. Okay, and that's it. The next step, of course, is to run this model. To run this model, again, press and hold Ctrl-Shift-P, then Python select interpreter, select the interpreter inside of your virtual environment, and click here to run the model. And finally, let's run the model. Make sure that everything is fine, and click here, and this should run the model. Now, depending on how fast is your computer, it might even take several minutes to do everything that is to generate the image. First of all, we need to load the model, and after we load the model, the inference might even take 1 or 2 minutes. In my case, the whole process is maybe 3 minutes, and it can be speeded up. So let's wait until the image, actually the 3D model, is being generated. Okay, so you can see what we are loading currently. Now you can track and see where this file is. So you can go here, go home, you can go here, models, and you can find the exact file. So let's go back here. Now, of course, it might take some time to load everything, and then you see something is happening over here. Consequently, be patient. And after several minutes, the process is completed, and let's see the file. Let's go here, let's go to the folder, and here's the file. The extension of this file is .glb. And now the main question is how to open this file. To open this file, you actually need Blender. And let me teach you how to install Blender. It's super easy. So go to Google and search for download Blender Linux Ubuntu. Then over here, click over here, download Blender, and the file will be downloaded. So let's click over here, and then you will see that the file will start with the download process. So let's wait. Note over here that this is the archived file, that is, this is the compressed file. Consequently, you need to decompress it, and I will show you how to do that. Next, let's go to the downloads folder and you will see the file. Then do the right click and click on extract, and the folder will be extracted. However, this might take a while since this is a big file. And again, you need to be patient. And then now you can see everything is being extracted. It's not actually too large, only 400 megabytes. So let's wait. And that's it. Okay, so let's run Blender, open this folder, and how to run Blender, that's a good question now. To run the Blender, simply click here and the Blender will start. Now, here you can click on this box, press delete to erase, then click on File, click on Import, then select this option GLB, and then navigate to the folder, click here and click on Import, and here it is. Beautiful. Let's see the original image. So let's go home and let's find test 1. Here it is. Looks beautiful. And you can see over here the generated 3D image. You see how beautiful it is. This is truly amazing. Now if you rotate, you'll see that everything looks really good. Okay, that's all for today, and I hope that you like this video. If you like the videos I'm creating, please press the like and subscribe buttons, and see you in the next video tutorial.